Yes, we're only 5 games into the season, but I think you could confidently say that tonight for South Carolina was a must-win game matching up against Kentucky. The Gamecocks had started out 0-2 in conference play heading into Saturday's game with the Wildcats and really had their backs up against the wall. If you start 0-3 in conference play and you lose to a team like Kentucky, which by many is considered to be one of the worst teams in the SEC, I mean, where are you finding a win the rest of the way in conference play with a bye week next week, 5 ranked opponents in conference play after that, and then you get Coastal Carolina and Clemson. And sure, maybe you could beat Coastal and Clemson, but as far as SEC play goes, it's going to be tough, and it still will be for South Carolina, but they will be feeling pretty good heading into the bye week after picking up a 35-13 win over the Wildcats here at Williams-Brice Stadium. And I think we got to start with the defense in this game. Early on in this game, didn't look great. Opening drive of the game, Kentucky marches right down the field. Seth McGowan scores on a 20-yard touchdown run to put the Wildcats up 7-zip. And it's a real good drive for the Wildcats in this game, considering they won the coin toss and decided to receive to open this game. And they stood on their business and went down the field, scored right away. And then on the second drive, Kentucky marches down the field again. This time, South Carolina holds them to 3 points, which is a win in a lot of ways. But the first 2 drives of this game defensively were not very good. Shane Beamer did say after the game he felt the defense got out-physicaled a little bit on those early drives in the game, but something flipped. You move to the second quarter, defense just changed everything. From the second quarter on in this game, the final 3 quarters of this game, South Carolina's defense held Kentucky to 3 points and 88 yards of total offense. I mean, guys, that's really, really impressive. And you also look at the fact that the defense had 4 turnovers tonight, scored 2 defensive touchdowns. You had one on a scoop and score by JT Gear. First off, Dylan Stewart had the sack, 13-yard loss on Cutter Boley, who got sacked 6 times tonight. 13-yard loss in the play. Like I said, Gear knocks the ball free, takes it the other way, 41-yard touchdown. And then Gerald Kilgore, who had a pick last week at Missouri, really nice interception last week against the Tigers out in Como, had another one tonight. Pass overthrown from Boley, and Kilgore picks it off. And I think it was actually, now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more, I think it was a ball that was off a receiver's hands. Kilgore catches it, takes it the other way, 45 yards, touchdown for him. Really nice play. He's been stepping up a lot and playing a lot better, a lot more football for the Gamecocks lately, and has really, earned the chance to have more reps moving forward. And speaking of someone that I think has kind of earned the chance to have more playing time moving forward as we transition slowly into the offense now, I mean, how about Matt Fuller having 19 carries tonight, 48 yards, had a touchdown? Those numbers may not be eye-popping by any means, but when you look at the way South Carolina just has not been able to run the football much throughout these first 5 games, and we'll get into a little bit of that here in a second, I mean, that's a promising night. And I know a lot of people online and Gamecock fans are saying, that Matt Fuller should be RB1 moving forward. I did ask Beamer about that postgame, and he was not ready to commit to that sort of idea just yet. He did say that they love Rasul Faison, who had 2 touchdowns tonight. They do love Oscar Attaway, but they wanted to get Fuller going tonight. He's a load to bring down, as Beamer said, and that was certainly the case throughout the night. I believe 17 of his 19 carries did come there in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, the way you look at it is Fuller was getting the bulk of the carries at the end of this game. And yes, South Carolina does have the bye week before they head to Baton Rouge here in 2 weeks. But it makes you wonder, what does South Carolina do in the running game moving forward? Obviously, Lenore Sellers had a really good night on the ground. We'll get into him in a moment. But Fuller had some real nice runs in this game. Not explosive, like huge runs, but kind of kept moving the sticks a little bit, picked up 3-4 yards every so often, and it led to him scoring a touchdown, his first career one as a Gamecock. So nice performance for Mr. Fuller. Now, as I said, Lenore Sellers didn't have the biggest night. It wasn't a 300 passing yard night, but he completed, I believe it was 79% of his passes, 11 of 14 through the air. Had a really nice game on the ground, finished with 81 yards rushing, led the way for the Gamecocks. A lot more balanced, I would say, in the offense tonight. And I think for a lot of folks, it felt like Carolina kind of let Lenore's kind of break free a little bit. Like, it kind of felt like there were probably some chains on him with him in the running game. And, the numbers would tell you that he's still been running a lot this season. It just hasn't been as effective as last year. But tonight kind of felt like what we saw from Sellers last year. breaking out of tackles, making some nice runs to pick up first downs. I mean, it felt like Houdini Sellers at times in this game. And that's what you want to see. If South Carolina's offense is going to do what they hope to do this year, then you need that type of performance from Sellers, and that's exactly what the Gamecocks got tonight. So overall, pretty good. I mean, the offense could be better, of course. They minimized the penalties. Only had 5 penalties in total tonight. 3 of them were personal fouls, so that's not ideal. You did have a kick out of bounds on the opening kickoff of this game. I believe Max Kelly had another pretty short punt that, not short punt, but a punt that almost, or a kick, sorry, that almost went out of bounds. I meant to say punt for Mason Love, who did have a 16-yard punt tonight on his first one in the second quarter. So, again, there are things to improve upon from this game, but there's no doubt. And yes, you could say it's Kentucky, but at the end of the day, South Carolina did play a lot better tonight, a lot more clean football, a lot better in some respects. Defense was very good tonight. Offense was pretty good at times. Still got a lot of work to do, but now you got 2 weeks here until you go take on LSU, who just lost to Ole Miss earlier today out in Oxford. So we'll see where the Tigers fall in the rankings, but that game will be on Saturday, October 11th, as the Gamecocks do have their first bye week of the season this next week here, and they'll be off to Baton Rouge October 11th. Like I said, no official kick time announced yet, but we should get that information here on Monday. That game will either kick off sometime between 3:30 and 8 o'clock p.m. So we'll see if it's a night game. We'll see if it's an early afternoon game out there in Death Valley. So once again, South Carolina picks up a 35-13 win over Kentucky here on Saturday night. I will be back talking with you guys tomorrow night. GC Live Sunday Reset, 7 p.m. Be there. We'll talk some football, have more thoughts from this game. Until next time, for GamecockCentral.com, I'm Jack Veltri.